All right, so let's talk about the front end of this case management solution and this requirements document that we're beginning to flesh out here actually, and that has to do with the case creation design considerations. And so we've got this bullet point here for related to case creation. Let me clean this up a little bit here. And we'll try and go revisit this more as we progress and start to flesh out our solution further. And so when we think about case creation, the main thing that you want to ask yourself in so many words is, how are cases born? Now, I would never say this publicly to a client, but in your own mind, how are cases being created? Are they automatic? Are they manually entered? And is that email to case? Is that web to case? Is that a support agent entering in cases as they're taking phone calls? Is it a chat sort of initiated case creation? And so that's the first question that you ask when you're starting to solution something in the Service Cloud. And then as well, another question you want to ask are, what are the needs? And what that gets at is, what sort of data do we need to capture? Another question that we need to ask is, who's going to be contacting us with things that need to be resolved? In the typical scenario, the Service Cloud is there in order to solve problems and resolve issues, or to resolve trouble tickets, or to resolve some sort of service functionality. It's not so much product driven, it's more service oriented. And so who's going to be contacting us? That could either be external people such as customers. That could be internal, such as employees. An example of an internal case would be that of a enhancement request. And I've seen more than one Salesforce instance where there were not only external cases flowing in from customers, but the client was also using Salesforce to create their own support tickets as well. And those would come in not only from the outside from customers, but also internal enhancement requests and things that Salesforce users were asking to be added to their own Salesforce instance. And so there could be cases that are coming in through employees. And then another option as far as who could be partners. And those could be coming in through the community. You might have a partner community, for example. And so you can extend the functionality for your partners, people that reside between you and your customers a lot of times. They may be suppliers or vendors or various sorts of partner functionality. And they may be called upon to create cases that flow into your Salesforce instance. And then as well, you may want them working cases alongside of you as well. And then another thing to think about whenever you're talking about who is not only who are these cases coming from in the case creation process, but who's going to work these cases. And so those could be individuals or queues as well. And now that's more having to do once a case is created, who is working this case. But I want to go ahead and note this here so that we don't forget about this as part of our consideration as we're building out this solution. And so in the next lecture, we're going to dive into creating queues and talk about how they're used and how they're useful in the Salesforce Service Cloud. So stay tuned as we build our first queue.